How much squatting strength do I need? How much do I need to bench press? If I back squat 150 kilograms right now and if I put on 10 kilograms, how much measurable change will that have in my sport? Those are some of the questions that we will go through right now using the information of the pioneers of sports science. Now, if you compete in a power and speed demanding sport, what you are actually after is explosive power production and not merely slow velocity strength. And there is an entire science behind this. It is an umbrella term with many subcategories. Let us simplify it into three main components: max strength, high velocity strength, and speed and reactivity. Maximal strength is your ability to produce force regardless of the time it takes. So think of a 1 repetition maximum lift in a back squat or a deadlift. Because the weight is so high, it will inevitably move with very slow speed in relation to your capacity. High velocity strength is your ability to move moderately demanding weights but in a very fast manner. In other words, it is force production produced as fast as possible. For example, you can think of a bench press of, let's say, 50% of your 1 repetition maximum as fast as you possibly can. You can also think of Olympic weightlifting variations, which by their very nature force you to put forth a lot of force in a short period of time. And finally, we have speed and reactivity. This is your change of direction, your elastic energy utilization of muscles and tendons, your ability to react quickly, and common training interventions include plyometrics and sprinting and various medicine ball throws and agility drills. Now here's a very important concept. All of these components must be structured in a hierarchical and progressive manner. The success of one block paves the way for the other. For example, if you focus on maximal strength training one period and you do a bad job there and go into high velocity strength or speed too early, you will not get the best return on investment. And this is the main idea behind periodization, structuring up blocks of training in the appropriate order. Now, when it comes to explosive power development, every single athlete will have different starting points of each of these key components. You will find athletes that are very strong, you will find athletes that are very explosive, you will find athletes that have a mixture of everything. Individual variations are very evident. Now, regardless of your starting point, if you are a novice in weight training and power training and all of that stuff, everyone should begin with a good strength training intervention. This will have the highest return on investment in all athletic attributes globally. Not only will you develop crazy amounts of strength here, but you will also develop speed and reactivity and high velocity strength. Your body at this point is so neuromuscularly susceptible to development that you will increase in everything. You are so fresh neuronally speaking. It's almost like you get a novice boost in everything. Now, let's say you had not done a strength training intervention and in your untrained state you had gone into speed and reactivity or high velocity strength, you would not have enjoyed as big of a benefit in all attributes. And this is once again the importance of ordering and structuring things correctly. Now, once you have done enough strength training and you get to a reliable base of strength and you reach this point of diminishing returns, further emphasis here will require astronomical effort, and the benefits you gain from that are peanuts. If after years of well-managed and smart strength training you reach a back squat of, let's say, 200 kilograms, turning your 200 kilograms to 210 will require astronomical efforts. So now that you have a reliable base of strength, then you should implement high velocity strength and speed and reactivity and these kinds of things. This is where the highest return on investment will be. For example, instead of attempting to increase your 1 repetition maximum, try increasing your bar speed at submaximal weights. Stick to 70% for a while, and let's say your bar speed previously was 0.8 meters per second. Now try to get that up to 1 meter per second. This will have tremendous carryover to your explosive power development, and it is a functional attribute that is useful in sport, producing high forces in shorter time frames. And then you can go to a speed and velocity intervention such as plyometric exercises, medicine ball throws and working the stretch shortening cycle, agility training and these kinds of things. I have made many videos on this topic in the past, check them out if you want to, and you can also check out my book Strength and Conditioning for Wrestling. Now, I guarantee that you are thinking of a question right now. What the heck is a base of strength? And I know you're not gonna be content with "it depends", so I will give you a table right now that you should not take with a pinch of salt but an entire bucket of salt, because it is extremely generalized. So this is just based on a website where they have logged 50 million lifts and they have categorized them into different levels. For many athletes that I coach, I have found that the proficient levels in the basic compound lifts and strength patterns will prove just fine. But realistically speaking, you should keep developing strength until you reach a noticeable plateau that no matter what new solutions you present, you're not moving anymore. You're just messing around with a bunch of peanuts. This is the best time to start introducing other explosive power interventions. There is a lot of gut feeling involved. I have no way of objectively assessing it for you that takes every individual variation in question. A very important key when prioritizing explosive power variables in a periodized scheme is that nothing ever completely replaces the other attribute. For example, if you're in a max strength block, it simply means that max strength gets the front seat. You don't ignore every other attribute. So the bulk of your training will be compound lifts with heavy weights and all of that, but aside from that you can also implement plyometrics, you can also implement medicine ball throws and ballistic training, yes. And then when you shift over to high velocity strength or speed and reactivity and these kind of things, you will also emphasize strength training but to a lesser priority, just to maintain it. A big mistake is that when people shift over to these different blocks is that they ignore everything else. You still have to maintain all other attributes. For example, if you are in your speed and reactivity cycle, you can entertain your strength by reducing the number of training days of strength training or reducing the number of sets or even the intensity. There is a lot of ways to approach it. Whatever you do, don't skip it entirely.